Welcome to Game 2 of the series. Again, Cruzz trying to defend Love Nest's throne against challenger Sirlami. Sirlami up 1-0 over Cruzz. Pretty impressive performance last game from his U.S. Forces vehicle play. Cruzz could not hold the line and he was shut down. Working the flanks, the munitions flanks, gave him a pretty big advantage over his Oster opponent, who just could not catch up, couldn't keep up. Cruzz had some good engagements with his Panzer IV, but when he lost it to a P-47 strafe, plus just being outproduced by a sheer volume of tanks, just couldn't keep up. Factions are switched, and we are going to go from US versus Oster to Soviets versus Oberkommando West. So all four factions will be represented in the first two games of this series. Sirlami playing as Oberkommando West in the south, Cruzz playing as Soviets in the north. We have 4 conscript opening from Cruzz, and Sirlami is going to go with Kubelwagen first into 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers as SWS half-track doing some scouting here around Cruzz's base. You should probably be careful not to get too aggressive with it because of the speed nerf. It can struggle to get to safety if it ever gets in danger. Reinforced wire barricade going up right there. If you can also get one right there, Cruzz may struggle to get the right side territory under his control. But AT grenade research was just so quick from Cruzz, and that SWS half-track is right by a squad-damaged engine. I don't know if this thing's gonna survive this. No, it definitely will not. Second AT grenade from Cruzz, just to be safe. And there it goes. SWS destroyed. He has played his hand of early AT grenade research, so Sirlami knows that that's on the field. And he will need to be very careful with his Kubelwagen, but he will not be able to tech up for quite some time. Losing that half-track at almost 4 minutes into the game means he's not even going to be able to tech up, get Panzerschrecks or grenades until 6 minutes in. 6 minutes for Panzerschrecks or grenades is very late. Very late, and Cruzz will probably be able to capitalize on that hard in any way he chooses. If he can get early map control against his opponent and rush a vehicle onto the field, that will be a huge advantage. He may consider tier 1 for an M3. He may simply just spam conscripts extremely hard. Either way, whatever he chooses to do, Sirlami is now going to be forced to contend without any tech. Squad of Volksgrenadiers on the left side will be forced to retreat. Stern Pioneers actually do manage to completely fortify the right side, though, working on this strategic point now. Allies will have to walk all the way down this way through this approach just to get to these territories. One squad of conscripts is going to retreat away from the Kubelwagen there in the south. This squad of conscripts working on sandbag position while they take control of this territory. Going to move for the victory point next. Munitions are pretty much in Cruzz's control over here on the left side, and these two squads are making their way towards the center victory point.
On the line.
Stern Pioneers working on the munitions. Volksgrenadiers working the strategic point. These Volksgrenadiers working the strategic point as well. Conscripts setting up those sandbags. They are in green cover now. More conscripts. Engaging. On this point, they will be forced away after taking heavy damage from those Volksgrenadiers. Didn't have the proper numbers to win that engagement, and we also do not yet have Molotovs researched by Cruzz. Pretty good positioning on the Kubelwagen. Cruzz can't seem to get in range to destroy that with an AT grenade swarm. That squad of conscripts barely gets away alive. There's the M3 from Cruzz, though. He has decided tier 1's a good idea against the fact that Sirlami cannot tech at all. His SWS half-track's going to roll back onto the field in 10 seconds. So he has a window of opportunity. There's the AT grenade on the Kubelwagen, damaging its engine. M3 with the flamethrower inside, moving to support in this engagement, making a full retreat from all of Sirlami's forces here. But it's important to note that Cruzz has fallen below 478 victory points already, so if this game does go to Game 3, Sirlami has already earned faction selection. There's nothing Cruzz can do about that at this point. Cruzz making his way towards the cutoff. Cutting off all right side resources by grabbing this fuel and cutoff here. We're going to see no tech structure from Sirlami yet, who has spent a lot of manpower on a 4th Volksgrenadier squad, Panzer Fusilier squad, and Raketenwerfer. Which makes sense to do, certainly. When you can't tech up, you need to flood the battlefield with as many Tier 0 and doctrinal units as you can. Since you cannot spend manpower on tech, you need to try and level the playing field in other ways. Panzer Fusiliers may expose themselves to this flamethrower car, but it's a 6-man squad, so they're unlikely to get wiped on retreat. Plus, they can damage its engine if he really wants to be safe. Going with the rifle grenade now, damaging the scout car's engine. Maybe not even going to retreat. Volksgrenadiers moving up to support in this engagement. If the scout car doesn't kite those Volksgrenadiers to death, it may go down. It's got its rear armor exposed to those Volksgrenadiers. Needs to round the corner. I'm not sure if it's going to get away or not. I think he's tossing a grenade. Oh no, he can't toss a grenade. I don't know if that scout car is going to go down. Doesn't look like it. Volksgrenadiers lose the engagement and will be forced to retreat. And the scout car will be fine, and the munitions Sirlami spent on damaging its engine are effectively wasted. Engagement for the center not going too much better. Sturms have to retreat. Volksgrenadiers will be next as more conscripts are flooded onto the battlefield to support in this engagement. At the very least, Sirlami has restored control of the right side cutoff. But Cruzz has taken victory point control, and Sirlami is now triple capped and has lost both fuel points. He's very behind, and he's gone battle group headquarters, so he does not even have the prospect of a flak half-track to get territory back under his control.
Grenadiers back to full strength.
Back up to full force. The squad is back to full strength.
Members of fall back position. Quickly, order to pull back.
Volksgrenadiers working on the right side VP. Conscripts moving up to take control of the strategic point right here. These conscripts might get wiped. Retreating away from these two squads, they will escape narrowly. Sirlami cut off again by conscripts in this area. Raketenwerfer set up for that push. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. M3 barely gets clear and a full squad gets wiped. Conscripts move up to engage. Right there. And that M3 is still alive despite some very near misses. Sirlami is going to try to harass some fuel points straight down the center, while Cruzz has gone tier 3 and a T-70 is in production. Once that T-70 is on the field, Sirlami will have very little with which to contend.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector. We have mine detectors. Now we can walk with confidence. We are losing territory.
Two squads of Panzer Fusiliers. He does have one Panzerschreck at his disposal, which to combat that light tank as it makes its way onto the field. He's already struggling against one M3 with a flamethrower inside. I'm not sure how he's going to survive against the T-70. Fortunately, some bad M3 maneuvering will give Sirlami a little bit of free fuel right there, and he does get the flamethrower pushed off the battlefield for now. Struggling to break his containment a little, but he has started securing control of that point. Conscripts in this building may be able to secure the victory point for a little while, and the T-70 should be able to win an engagement against this lone Panzerschreck squad, since the Raketenwerfer is really nowhere nearby to support at all. They're simply going to have to retreat. They don't have much of a choice. And if they get wiped on retreat, that would be extremely bad. Raketenwerfer moving up to screen the retreat path, though. T-70 might go down if it gets stuck in these trees. Get around the corner. No! Look at that! T-70 got stuck. It got stuck, and Cruzz could knock it out of its line of fire. That T-70 goes down in its very first engagement, and the Panzerschreck squad makes it to safety. Very unfortunate engagement for Cruzz right there. The placement of that Raketenwerfer and the placement of those trees all combined to just not work out in his favor. And Sirlami will remain in the game for just a little bit longer as a result of that T-70 being shut down. Cruzz has chosen guard motor coordination, fielded one squad of guards now. In response to that, he's going to throw down some defenses over here on the left for recurring munitions control. He's got absolute and total control of the map right now, threatening to even take control of the fuel right outside Sirlami's base, but that squad of conscripts will get pushed away, and I think we're looking at Tier 4 going up to defend the fuel, and finally we'll see a minor zone of protection created here. Cruzz will not be able to push this, and having gone guard motor coordination in Tier 1 and Tier 3, he has no field guns with which to pressure this truck, so this makes perfect sense for Sirlami to do against what he's currently facing. But he needs to get that cutoff under his control, get some more territory under his control. Volksgrenadiers making a play for the left side now. Guards with their PTRSs engaging Volksgrenadiers in the center. Combat engineers working on the left side may plant some more defenses. Cruzz has a little bit of munitions to spare, but he may want to spend that on DP machine guns. So he's already purchased them. DP machine guns already in progress, which just goes to show how good his map control has been this game. 52 munitions coming in for 14 minutes is going to give you a lot of nice luxury items as Soviets. Plant as many mines as you want. Plant some demo charges. Get those upgrades on your guards. Conscripts will retreat away from the right side. These two squads moving to engage over there as well. Now that he knows about the Tier 4 structure, he's got to manage that threat. I don't know if I think Panzer II is a good decision. If he assumes that Cruzz is going straight for call-ins, he can try and use the looks to put pressure on Cruzz's infantry, especially since there will not be any field guns with a Tier 1 opening. But he knows Cruzz has already gone Tier 3, and it won't be that much of an investment for Cruzz to just drop 100 fuel on a T-34 to counter this thing. So I don't know. On the one hand, it will almost certainly stall. It will almost certainly delay call-ins. On the other hand, it may become irrelevant very quickly. Whereas if he had just tried to survive until Panther, a Panther would definitely be useful no matter what. There will never be a point during this game at which a Panther is not useful, so I can understand either way. It'll come down to how he uses this and how Cruzz responds to the fact that this is on the field. Combat engineers try to plant a mine. They do not finish it. Lux attacks ground there for a little while just to be safe. There's a minesweeper leading the charge. So that Lux should be clear to advance. Advancing with minesweeper support, very important, of course. And it's already off to a great start. Hasn't got that many kills, but it's inflicting huge damage to Cruzz's infantry. Over here on the left side, Volksgrenadiers available to support. Sturm Pioneers continue to try and sweep for mines in this general area to make sure that it's safe for the Lux to advance, and it is. And Cruzz has responded to this. Ooh, ouch. Has responded to this by going T-34. So the call-ins are going to be that much further delayed. Probably good for Sirlami that he's forced that decision by Cruzz, but at the same time, Cruzz has 35 fuel coming in. Sirlami has only 13. His Panther's not going to arrive for quite some time. And more defenses are being planted over here on the right side, and Sirlami shows very little sign of being able to get any of this territory under his control anytime soon. Sending some infantry squads to the right will weaken his position in the center and left, and he's probably just going to continue trading territory slowly. He really needs that Lux to start wiping squads. He needs it to make an even more dramatic impact than it already has. It's a mine right there, but he will not step on it. Disengaging away from those squads. For now, minesweeper trying to move into support and engagement with conscripts on the south flank. T-34 does catch the Lux out of position, and conscripts in its retreat path. Beautiful play by Cruzz. That Panzer II is dead with only 5 kills. Couldn't even make it to Vet 1. did not have the impact he needed it to, other than forcing the purchase of a T-34. And I don't know if he's going to be able to survive the loss of that. He won't be able to get a Panther for some time. If he goes Jagd Panzer, he'll be vulnerable to a 3 medium tank swarm when the Collins do get here, so early pressure proving difficult for Sirlami to deal with because he just has no map control. His economy cannot support these engagements. Not support these engagements at all. T-34 going in on those Panzer Fusiliers. They're going to be forced to retreat. Guards and conscripts engaging in the center. Sirlami just making no progress anywhere. Every single front he tries to make some progress on. Cruzz has a slightly stronger force. It's just not getting anywhere. Obersoldaten on the field. Hopefully these will have slightly better luck than the Looks will. The nice thing about Obers is they can retreat from a T-34. A lot easier to preserve than that Looks. If the Looks takes engine damage and a T-34 starts shooting at it, it's pretty much guaranteed dead. Kettenwerfer and Panzerschreck available for this engagement. Sirlami really needs to throw down at least one mine or try and get in range for an AT grenade on that T-34 to damage his engine and finish it off with his other anti-tank weapons. Otherwise, it's going to continue harassing him, dealing serious damage. Not to mention Cruzz's mines are causing problems of their own. So much manpower bleed. Fusiliers are a little late to seek cover against those conscripts, and I don't think they'll win this engagement. Conscripts get the triple cap going again, almost. Center point's currently uncontested. Fusiliers retreat. LMG-34 upgraded on those Obersoldaten as they make their way towards the center VP to try and get it under control. These two squads move to get the triple cap going here in the center. Volksgrenadiers walking up to conscripts in green cover, gonna be forced to retreat again. Not going to accomplish anything over here with this. DP and PTRS upgraded guards against Panzer or G43 upgraded Fusiliers. Oh, that grenade. They switch targets to the Volksgrenadiers to try and win this engagement, but they're not. It's just too much. They can't win that. They'll be forced to retreat. 124 fuel for Sirlami, desperately trying to make it at this point. Probably just a Jagd Panzer just to be able to survive. I don't think Panther is a particularly real possibility. He's not going to have time. Not on this fuel income. Volksgrenadiers taking control of this territory. More infantry set up in green cover on the center VP. T-34 working the right side victory point to try and maintain control of that. It does not have Vet 1, so it cannot secure the point itself, but combat engineers are on their way to do so. These two infantry squads will be forced to retreat away from the center. Left side, a little bit open actually, a little bit open for Sirlami to finally make some progress over there, while a lot of Cruzz's squads have been forced to retreat and heal. He's going to get a very brief moment of map control. But he's really struggling to slow down the triple cap. Every single victory point still in Cruzz's control as conscripts move to maintain control of the center, and the clock is ticking against Sirlami very quick. Jagd Panzer will be available soon.
Position!
Minesweeper will reveal a demo charge over there on the left side, so that's something. T-34 pushes away all forces from that area. We do have a second Rakettenwerfer on the field, and the T-34-85s have hit the battlefield, and they're going to go in hard. Threads the needle between these two Rakettenwerfers, arcs of fire. They're going to need to turn, but conscripts are going to clear those out really quick. G43 is trying to screen the conscripts away. Will leave from that T-34. Everything Cruzz has on the battlefield is being brought to bear in a huge push against Sirlami's front line, and I probably won't be able to hold. Volksgrenadiers moving up with a Panzerschreck to try and push away those T-34s. Stolen Rakettenwerfer is going to start firing on the truck. The T-34-76 is circling around here towards the south for repairs, I think. This T-34 needs to pull back after falling low to Panzerschreck fire. Obersoldaten moving up, chase away that squad of guards, and Cruzz will be forced to disengage. Thought he was going to get that truck, but he didn't like the engagement and pulls back. And I feel that Cruzz could probably have won that engagement with Molotov research. If he had thrown Molotovs on all of the enemy infantry squads and kept up fire on the Tier 4 structure, it might have gone a little differently for him. Although, engaging a little further away from the truck seems to be going all right. Forces a retreat from that Sturmpio squad, trying to focus down the overs. Sirlami takes advantage of the fact that the overs are being focus fired by moving his Panzer Fusiliers up into point blank range to maximize their damage while they're not receiving any damage in return. And if you stand right on top of your opponent's infantry, you can try and get some friendly fire going on them from tanks as well. That squad of Fusiliers will be forced to retreat, and G43s are trying to take control of the center point, slow down the clock if at all possible. The right side still completely under Cruzz's control from that T-34 and supporting infantry, making his way into the base to try and pick up some of these retreating, heavily wounded squads. But his rear armor will be exposed to the Tier 4 structure. T-34-85 moving up on the left, taking shots at that Volksgrenadier squad, falling dangerously low. Two Rakettenwerfers have both been recrewed, though. If AT grenade can connect with the T-34 and damage its engine, they may be able to take it out, but he's taking too much damage and will be forced to retreat that squad. Over here on the right side, T-34 doesn't look like it really picked anything up. Had to retreat with a lot of damage from the Tier 4 structure on its rear armor. But the triple cap is going to continue against Sirlami, and I'm pretty sure we are now looking at the end of the game, bleeding so much manpower that he never managed to actually queue up his Panther, although he did manage to collect the fuel for it. He managed to get the fuel for it, but it's not ever going to hit the field. Too much aggressive pressure on Sirlami's infantry squads, and he could not maintain the cost of these engagements. So GG. After a short break, we will be going into Game 3. And you can look at the kills and losses here. Pretty even, actually. But because Cruzz is the one with map control, even engagements will go in his favor. There it is.